Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode. I have a wonderful guest here for you, and you're going to love her. Her name is Christine Blosdale. Christine, did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Blosdale. It's
Blosdale?
Blosdale, but you can call me
Okay.
Blosdale if you
Now
like.
I'm going to call you Blosdale. Okay, Christine Blosdale. And she is the expert authority business coach with over 25 years of experience in media, branding, and social media. As a five-time number one best-selling author and podcasting expert who's worked with industry giants like America Online and Microsoft, Christine is passionate about empowering her clients to amplify their voices and dominate their niches. With her signature blend of humor and media expertise, Christine empowers business owners and creatives to achieve remarkable success, making the journey as enjoyable as the destination. And Christine, I've got to say that if the way you work with your clients is anything that is just like the quick conversation that we have, I know that your people must love you and really just I'm just saying it. And, right? I wanted this
Thank
to
you.
be a real conversation. So
Thank you.
I'd love to hear just a little bit. How did you get to where you are now? Tell me a little bit of your story.
Mm, well, I think I was a born coach or a born teacher, so to speak. I I love sharing my experiences, my wisdom, the things that I've learned. I love sharing them. I was in broadcast journalism. I was a producer and a host at a major radio station in Los Angeles for 20 years. And during that time, I really found out what people want. And through those trial and error, right? And going about doing interviews with amazing people from all over the world, I found that there's the pillar of there's three things that people really are concerned about and want. And that's health, wealth, and love. And wealth does not mean necessarily how many dollars you have in the bank, right? Wealth could be wealth of time to have to spend with your family, or it can be having enough money that you feel confident and you're not stressed. So those three things I find are super important. And while I can't really necessarily help people find love, although I have found love, but I can't, I'm not a matchmaker. And when it comes to health and wellness, I used to do that. I was a fitness coach, a personal fitness coach many years ago, God, so long ago. But I can, when it comes to wealth, I can help them take their passion, their expertise, whatever it is that they're really good at, and help them monetize that or get it out in the world, help them service and serve others, whatever their goals are. I can help them do that through all of the stuff that I've learned throughout the years, being a podcaster, being a radio host, um, being a bit of a salesperson when I had to do fundraising, all that stuff. So I just sort of think it's something that I feel really good about, and I don't think it's work. I don't consider it work.
Mm,
When
yeah.
you're really excited about doing something, it's not work. It's not like, oh, it's Monday, I've got to do this. I'm like, it's Monday, I can't wait to do this, right? So that's a little bit of the background of that I've
Mm,
got for coaching. Yeah.
I love that. If you had to say, I have this one superpower, what would it be?
Mm. Oh goodness. I think for me, it's keeping things simple, easy, and fun. Because that's how I learn. That's I find that when things are too is there a complicated way to do things? Yes. Is there an easier way? If there is an easier way to do things, I'll search that out and find it. That's because I want to have my clients have success or mini successes. If it's something that's going to cost them a fortune and it's going to be very complicated, they're already gone. They're like they're checked out. I can't do it. But if it's something, I mean, I've got one client who was in her mid to late 70s, and she's always wanted to have a podcast. Now she's this little lady from Brooklyn, New York, and so she's got this accent, and she's a master Reiki healer, and she's been a hypnotherapist for forever. And she had a little tiny clinic in Los Angeles, so she could only see a few people here and there, and really teach people the power of energy in our thoughts and all of that stuff. And so she wanted to reach more people. And I said, you should have a podcast. And she's like, oh, I've always dreamed of that, Christine, but it just sounds too hard. Like the technology, like she was scared, right? She's 70,
Yeah.
she's 75. And I said, you can do it. And I said, I can help you do it. I'll show you how to record, how to edit, how to publish. I'll show you, but I'll show it to you in a simple, easy, and fun way. And she was like, right, I'll do it. And now she's got like 150 episodes. She's interviewed
Nice.
Pat Benatar. I mean, she's just killing it. So that's probably my skill set, my major skill set is
Yeah.
keeping it
Simple,
simple, easy,
easy,
and fun.
fun. Simple,
Yeah.
easy, and fun. I love that. We were talking just before I hit record about marketing. And marketing is one of those words that is part of everything that we do in business. And you said, there's this real need right now for people to be relatable, authentic and relatable. And we've heard that word authentic, but there was something different about the way that you said it that I thought really struck home. So, talk to me about what that is to show up as a coach, to show up as an entrepreneur in a really relatable way.
Yeah. So one thing that a lot of coaches go through, and especially women, right, is we have this a little bit of imposter syndrome, or um, we compare ourselves to others, and so we're not actually showing up as Christine, the expert authority coach. We're showing up as Christine. This person over here is really looks like they're happy and successful, so I'm going to mimic what they're doing. Or um, I'm not confident enough in myself that I need to borrow the personality or the copy or the angle of somebody else, right? So like with my style, I'm very homey, I'm very casual, I'm very informal, right? I am not corporate, suited up, proper hello. you know I like to have fun, and I want my clients to have fun. So that's my energy, that's my style. I am not that person who's, hey, how you doing, hey, everything's perfect, don't worry. I am not that at all. So when I say about the importance of showing up authentically, it is who we are. And when you come out authentic in your videos that you do on social media, in the copy that you write for your blogs, your website, that needs to reflect who you really are, so that when people do reach out to you, they know that they're getting what they believe is you, right?
Hmm.
Then you're serving that client properly, and you're comfortable. It's like wearing comfortable clothes. If you're wearing shoes that are too tight, you know that feeling. You're miserable,
Yeah.
right? So it's like trying to be something that you're not. And in this world right now, we are, as a society, rewarding people who are authentic and who are relatable. The days of perfection and Kardashianism and unattainable, you know, wealth and success with air quotes, that's gone. It's about, hey, she understands how I feel, so she's attainable. I can actually uh, relate to her, and she's got enough expert authority. She's got enough expertise in whatever subject matter that they're interested in, that she's got enough of that she can actually help me. It's building trust. If you don't have that trust, then you're just throwing pasta on the wall and hoping something
Yeah.
sticks.
Yeah.
So I think the it's that'll be rewarded very highly, and it's been rewarding for me, just being that authentic person and not somebody else.
It's really interesting, this thing about relatable and being comfortable in yourself and then doing everything from that part. And there's, like I've heard this before about, be yourself, own your superpowers, da 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 da, speak in your voice. And I get it. But I think that for many of the people that listen to this show, they're like, okay, yeah, yeah, I've heard the words. But how do I get comfortable enough to do it? Right? Like there's a place of discomfort where we've been socialized to show up, what's expected of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Hmm.
how do you get comfortable enough within yourself to then be able to take that next step? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yes. I truly believe, and I've had my own mentors, my own coaches. I believe that we as solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, if you're a mompreneur, whatever, we live in a silo. Many times we live in this little narrow world, and we just think it's us against the world, right? And we don't see how we are being perceived. We think that when people come to our website, of course, when people come to my website, they're going to know exactly what I do, and they're going to be knocking the door down to get to me. No, it a lot of times you know what you do, you know your expertise, but the public won't, because your messaging is not clear. You don't have contact information on your website. And there are things that you might have just it slipped your mind, right? And so my job is to go in and look at your website, go in and look at your social media, go in and look at anything that your digital footprint is, and to see if I get a clear picture of who you are and what you can do for me, or what you can do for, if you're a health coach, what you can do to improve people's health, whatever it is. I
Mhm.
need to see that. Now, if you as a health coach are not reflecting healthiness, right?
Mhm.
Then I'm going to say there's a disconnect, right? So I would take a look at your digital footprint first. And I've had some clients that are so good at what they do and they're amazing. And then I go and I look at their website and their social media, and I don't, you wouldn't have a clue. And so sometimes you just need somebody from the outside to come in and take a look and look at the big picture and go, "Oh my gosh, I I have a client. I have a client who just she's 82, and she's doing this for legacy. It's not about making money, but she wants to get out there and get on podcast shows and be interviewed and do some public speaking. And she's the first Australian woman to do hot air ballooning
Oh,
back in the day
cool.
when it was like, no women were involved in the sport or the adventure. And so she's been doing it for years and years. Now, I created a media kit for her, a EPK, electronic press kit, so she can get interviewed. Because I said, you need to send these show hosts something saying why would you be a good guest on a show.
Yeah.
And so we created it, and I was basically cherry picking those golden moments that you as a podcast host, or if I was the producer of a television show, would go, that's interesting. Now that's interesting. Not who you married and where you went to
Yeah.
school. That's not interesting. But the fact that she almost died 7 times and was rescued by a pod of dolphins. Are you
Hello?
kidding?
Yeah, right?
I want to talk to her,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or there were so many things, that she was an accidental feminist back in the day. Right?
Mm.
All these things, and I said, this is what we want to showcase for you. And also just taking you know, that photo. I said, do you have a headshot? Do you have a photo that is just drop dead gorgeous of you that we can use? And she was, she's showing me these pictures of, and of course the hot air balloon stuff is great, but she had a picture where she was getting awarded some Australian medal of, some big thing, and she's in her flight jacket,
Ah,
and she's so happy, and she's in her, by then she was in her late 70s or something, and she's so happy. I said, that's the money shot right there,
yeah.
because that's you.
Hmm.
That's you. You're not in a suit and being uncomfortable with a lot of makeup. You're the adventurer, right? The elder who's living life to the fullest. And so that's what I do, is basically I come in and I'll say, this is what we want to present to the outside world, and
Hmm.
and get you the attention that you deserve. Yeah.
Yeah, so this thing that I hear, there's a couple of threads here. One is that you really look at your clients. And so thinking about people who, if they're kind of going, well, where do I start? First, it's have a partner that really looks at them,
Yeah.
really listens, really, and you're kind of watching for the spark. That's the way I would describe it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like you're listening, and you're like, there it is. there's the spark, right? Found it, right? And those are like little snapshots of places or topics, or when you can catch how you feel at that spark, now you know you're fully aligned. Now you know
Yes.
this is a way to show up, right? So that you can come back and you can catch that emotion and show up in that way. And then
Yes.
when you're in that space, of course, it's going to come out. You're going to write the things, you're going to record the things, right?
Yes. Because all of a sudden you go like now she can, if she ever has any doubt, she can look at her media kit and go, I did that. That's right.
Yeah.
I did that. That's a great subject of conversation. She's got so many different things. You know, being in a man's world, being successful in a man's world in a time when it was like, little lady,
Yeah.
you need to be at home, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
all those different things. Ageism. She wants to talk about ageism and how, you know, at 82, she if she was sitting in a rocking chair in some home, she wouldn't be the inspiration that she is, right? And
Mm-hmm.
she wants to tell people that, you know, when you're in your 70s and 80s, life can just begin for you. And I just love that. That spark, we all have it. We just sometimes need someone else from the outside to see it, because we as human beings, and especially women, we beat ourselves up. We have that imposter syndrome many times. It doesn't matter how many degrees you have or how much
Right.
money you've got in the bank. It doesn't matter. But if you have someone else from the outside, because those stories that you tell yourself, that I'm not good enough, I'm too old, I'm too fat, I'm too this, I'm too that, that will stop you from taking all that beautiful stuff that's inside you and getting it out into the world and helping others if that's what you want to do. Servicing, so being of service to others, that will
Mm-hmm.
stifle that. And
Yeah.
it has a stinky poo poo. Okay. That desperation or that lack of confidence has a smell,
Yeah.
and we can smell it. We can smell it a
And that's
mile
the and
away.
that's the other thing about showing up really authentically, right? And relatable is there is that sniff test. It reminded me of years ago, I started dance as an adult. And so here's me as an adult on stage dancing, and my dance instructor said, "Listen, if you look uncomfortable up there, the audience will be uncomfortable. But if you relax and you allow yourself to enjoy yourself, they will enjoy themselves too." And it's the
Yeah.
same kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Get out
Yeah.
of your own way and enjoy yourself. We're all stuck in our own head with our own self-judgment. We're not going pointing our fingers at everybody else, right? We got enough muck going on in there. That's
No.
super interesting. Hmm.
We when we get out of our own way, for the clients that I have that are really worried about being judged by others, they're going to make fun of me. What will people think? What will my family think? Who would listen to me? Those, and that happens, right? That happens.
Yeah.
For those people, I always, my training with them is to say, not only get out of your own way, stop focusing on you. It's not about you. And they go, what? I said, it's
Yeah.
not about you. Why do you want to do this? Well, I want to inspire young people to be more healthy and get off their device, whatever the goal is.
Yeah.
Okay, then show up for them. Don't make it about you. Make it about them. If you don't show up because of all these doubts, think about all those kids that you could be helping, but you're not.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when you do that with most people, when you turn the focus around on who you're supposed to be serving, then it's like, it's my duty. You're right. I need to show up for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need to
Mm-hmm.
get up in the morning and I need to do that to be an inspiration for them or to help them. And, you know, if you're a coach, to help my clients, I need to be there for them, and it takes the pressure off of you.
Yes. Yeah. And it's yeah, 100%. I use the metaphor of a mirror, you know. You can either look in the mirror and look at all your pimples and stuff, or you can turn it into a window and look at the world out in front of you and get out of your own head. So,
Yeah.
you help people in a lot of ways, and you help a lot of like of interesting variety of people
Hmm.
as well. The place that I'm really curious about, because you've talked about a couple people in sort of the podcast speaking area, right? Is what do you see as the future for podcasting for older women, for people who are maybe, maybe they're not old, but maybe they're just coming into like, I want to really make a difference. Are you really seeing a shift in the way podcasts are being used right now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I think when COVID happened, it was an explosion of of women starting their own businesses, and trying to get the word out about what they do. And there was also an explosion of podcasts that happened. I During COVID, I was very busy because everybody was like stuck at home, and they're like, I need to upskill. I need to learn how to do this. I need to learn how to do that. I got to create videos. I need to do podcasting, whatever. And so I was very busy, but I saw that explosion, and it was actually, even though it was a crazy scary time, it was a wonderful thing to see, because women were like, you know what, I'm not going to rely on my job that just let me go, or they cut my hours, or they've got me hanging on a thread. I don't like that feeling. I want to have my own business that I create and that I work within. And it was just phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. um, I think podcasting, both having your own podcast and or being a guest on podcasts, it's so powerful. It's just like with radio broadcasting, because the voice. Now, we have podcasts that are both audio and video. You can see the podcast on YouTube, which is great because some people are more visual,
Mhm.
and videos are easy to share. And same thing with audio, but with audio, it's a very intimate art form. And so with audio, people can hear me, they can feel my intention, they can go along on a story with me. And when I take a pause because something really is moving to me, they feel it, right? And they don't have the luxury of, or the handicap of visually seeing the person. So this way, they can only feel and hear me and really absorb what I'm saying, as opposed to saying, oh, why does she have such short hair? And how come she's got a nose ring? And what about those tattoos? What do those tattoos say? What is that? Is that Arabic? Our judgment, our
Right.
judgmental,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Why did she decide to wear that top today? That's what happens when we are looking at someone. When we're hearing someone, it's a very different story. And that's why I love audio. I love podcasting. It's just it's a beautiful medium to really reach people on a very deep level. That's the power of it.
And that's one of the reasons that podcasting for coaches works so well.
Yeah.
As you're describing this, Christine, I'm thinking that it reminds me of how much we've lost connection with others. And so, we've got AI, we've got tools, we've got so many people working from home, so much stuff being done digitally. But when you're listening to a podcast, now you feel like you've got the human connection again, right? And we crave that. We crave that. I want to listen in on somebody else's story. I want to eavesdrop on that conversation. I want to, be entertained or laugh or cry or whatever. And I think that there's a real piece of humanity there. And I mean, I know for myself, that's really meaningful to me. That's why I do
Yeah.
the work that I do, is because I love deep connection. And so
Mm.
podcasting allows that. And it's kind of cool because it's often that, women feel that, like they feel. And so now we get to move that feeling forward. It's interesting. I
You
hadn't
also
thought
get to
about it
meet
that way.
some amazing people when you are a podcast host like
Yeah.
yourself and like myself. I have got three. um, we get to meet amazing people.
Oh, yeah.
We actually, and it's really good if you're a coach. Here's a little tip: if you're a coach and you're thinking about creating a podcast, you're like, I don't know. If you create your podcast and you invite guests onto your show who you want to have a good connection with, maybe do a collaboration or a co-venture or you want them to be your mentor, or maybe even a potential client down the road, invite them to be on your podcast
Hmm.
and have that conversation. Very few people will say, "No, no, no, I don't want to be on your show. I
Yeah.
don't want to be. I don't want you. I don't want you to promote me. No, no, no." Most of them will jump at the chance and they'll say, "Oh, you want me to be a guest on your show? Of course, I'd love to." So
Yeah.
you can use it for all different types of purposes, really.
Yeah, I like that. That's super helpful, to use it for JVs, partnerships, and also just building that professional network. Like as you're talking about just the two clients that you've brought up, I'm thinking of hosts that I know that would love to have them as guests, right? And so there's that
Exactly.
expansion of I'd never met you before, you reached out, but maybe there's a beautiful connection there for one of your clients. Like we don't know what kind
Yeah.
of effect it's going to have, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And where that leads. But it's also because you and I both share something, Candy, really important, is that we do not have the scarcity mindset. We have the abundance mindset, which
Mm-hmm.
means there's plenty for everyone.
Yeah.
And I want to share you and your skills with people that I think could benefit from them. And so it's a win-win-win, right? We
Yeah.
like that win-win-win sort of relationship, and that's how I've always done business. I want it so that my client wins, so that the audience wins, and so that I win as well. Um, and the world, it would be a much better place if everybody did that.
Oh
But
my goodness.
we
Yeah.
can start at home. We can start with ourselves.
Yeah, and that's the only way. We all start with ourselves. Ah,
Yeah.
thank you, Christine. Gosh, I have really enjoyed our conversation
Me too.
and a chance to kind of get to know you, like to hear the way you express all your knowledge and your wisdom and the heart that you bring to your
Thank you.
your clients and to your shows and everything. So just so appreciative that you're on the show. So, as we wrap up, can you share how people can find out more about you? I know you've got a free gift and some other good
Yes.
things too.
I
Yeah.
got lots of goodies. Got lots of goodies in my Santa bag. So if people want to actually have a conversation with me, if they want to reach out, please, and don't be shy. The days of just like, oh, I'm too scared to talk to her. Just reach out to me. You can actually even book a free conversation, chat with me at my website, which is expertauthoritycoach.com. That's expertauthoritycoach.com. I figure Blosdale, it's too hard for people to spell. So it's just expertauthoritycoach.com. And there also, I have if you would like to rate your expert authorityness to see where you stand, your scorecard on what you do, and if you're coming across as an expert authority, there's a super easy quiz you can take. It's a little scorecard quiz, and it's about 10 questions, and it's really fun. And that's at expertauthorityquiz.com. You can take that. And then as a super extra fun thing, and I've never done this before. I'm telling you, I never ever have given away my books. These are available. Obviously, you could get them on Amazon and all the different major retailers. But I wanted to give my most recent book. It's a bestseller, The Social Media and Branding Survival Guide, Digital Marketing So Irresistible, Even Your Ex Will Want to Follow You. I do believe in very long titles on books. And so this book, these are all my tips and tricks and simple and easy and fun things you can do to improve your social media and your branding, things that you need to think about in your silo while you're in your basement, that you can think about to expand your expert authority. And it's absolutely free with the link that Candy is going to be sharing with you.
Yeah, I'll put all the links in the episode notes. And I love that full circle, simple, easy, and fun, right? That's the basis of
Yeah.
the book. It's the basis of the quiz. It's your superpower. It's everything all together. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining me.
Thank you, Candy. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much.